Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick update video. I know I've been saying I'm going to do one for a while and a lot has happened this year, which I won't get into. That's a whole nother long video that's sad. But I was going to get the gastric sleeve through Kaiser. I left that job, so I lost the Kaiser insurance. I did get new insurance, but it was a whole process of having to do everything over again, so I decided to do some research. And I looked into gastric sleeve in Mexico, and I found a place called Oasis Bariatrics. I found a Facebook group that I could join to look into it, get real life, results from people, their experiences, negatives, pros, cons, all of that. So I was in the group for a while before I made the commitment. I felt pretty good about it, so I decided I was going to go ahead and do it. It was $42.99. You pay in cash. I do believe they have a financing option through a place here in California that you can use, but it's very high interest, so I just paid it in cash. And once I paid it, they had an appointment for my surgery for 3 weeks after I paid it, which I thought, well, wow, like that got real quick. So my sister and I decided to do it together. So they send you a pre-diet. There's no mental health exam. They do require a lab testing before to check all your levels. They give you a pre-diet to follow, and it depends on your weight at the time that you are scheduled to go into surgery. Mine was 3 weeks. I had to do a pre-op diet and then 3 days of clear liquids. Oh, and mind you, if your BMI is too high, they do charge more for the surgery. $42.99 is the lowest for, like, my BMI was, I think, 42. So that was what I paid. Okay, so I had the 3-day clear liquid diet, and then we met the driver at the San Diego airport. They picked us up. They took us across the border to the hospital. We went on a Saturday. We got there, a beautiful place, a beautiful facility. Right away, we were taken to do labs, chest x-ray, did the admission paperwork. I think it took about 30 minutes to get all of that done, and then we were in our hospital room. And we were in there. They were told to change into our gowns. We did that. They came in and did EKG, and they placed our IV and told us one of us was going to go within the hour, which my sister nominated me to go first. So I want to say the doctor came in and he explained everything, asked if we had any questions. Very nice man. They spoke good English there. We didn't have any trouble communicating. And within 45 minutes of all of that, I was taken back to the operating room and knocked out. I woke up in the recovery room, was taken back to my room. My sister was already gone by that point to do her surgery, and we pretty much slept all day long after the surgery. We were very lucky. We didn't have gas pain. We weren't nauseous. We were just tired. We slept all day long. Got up to use the bathroom. That was about it. The next day they got us up and they had us do a swallow test with the barium to make sure there was no leak. And so we both passed that. I mean, it's a little shot. You just take it really quick. They take a picture while it goes down, make sure nothing's leaking. And then if that all goes good, then you're allowed to have your liquid. So we were fine, and we were both given liquids. We were not hungry at all. I mean, we basically drank the electrolytes that they gave you, which they weren't very tasty, but we knew we had to get something. So we did that. We did have a drain-in that also came out that day. They just pull it out and then they suture it up real quick. Pretty quick. We got there Saturday. By Monday, we were taken back across the border. we sat in the borderline for a little while, but anyways, we got across the border. Our mom picked us up, took us home. We were on clear liquids for about 5 days, and then we moved to full liquids from day 6 till I want to say 14. And I remember it was the 4th of July. It was our birthday because we're firecrackers. I was feeling pretty tired, more than usual. I don't usually get real tired or take naps, and I was just really wiped out that day, and I didn't have a pain or nothing like. I was feeling good all week. But the next day, on July 5th, I woke up. I took my sister to work so she didn't have to walk up the stairs in the parking garage. I dropped her off at the door, curbside service, because I'm so nice. And I got home, and I just suddenly had the chills. And I remember everybody says you get really cold after the surgery, and I was like, I hope this is not what they're talking about, because it was horrible. But I was shaking uncontrollably. My teeth were shattering so hard I thought they were going to break. And then I was trying to warm up. My husband happened to be home from work that day because it was the day after a holiday. And he came in and he was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "I don't know." Like, I could not stop. My body would not stop moving, and it was like uncontrollable, and it was crazy. And then all of a sudden I had to throw up. And I finally was able to throw up a little bit, and then it was excruciating pain. And my husband's like, "Oh, you're going to the hospital?" And I said, "No, I just need to warm up." But of course I knew, no, I needed to go. So he started driving me, and we live about 25 minutes from the hospital here. So he started driving me, and when we were about halfway there, I said, "You know what, you need to pull over and call 911, because it started getting black. And I knew, like, I just wasn't going to make it there. I was going to pass out. And I also knew if I were to walk in there, like, they would have taken forever to get to me. And I felt awful. I mean, I was in excruciating pain. So we called 911. They took me to the hospital. Right away, they got an IVs. There were like 3 of them. They took me to get a CT scan, and they were giving me pain medicine. At this point, I was probably there for about an hour. I developed a fever, and I just kind of knew. I had read some of the complications that could happen, though rare, and I knew I was having one. I just knew it. And the CT scan showed I had an accumulation of fluid built up in my abdomen. On the left side, my liver and spleen were crazy big, like really, really huge. And they were like, "This is not good." And so they had the surgeon come in. He's cold. Okay, so they had the surgeon come in, and he said, "Well, I'm just going to cut your whole stomach all the way across, and all that work's going to be for nothing." And he was like, "Would you find a guy in Mexico who knows how to do it?" And I said, "Actually, it was a whole facility who they do thousands and thousands of these all the time." So he was kind of a jerk, but I ended up being there all day. We were there for 9 hours in that hospital. They were going to admit me. I knew that. I still wasn't sure really what was going on. All they said was they saw fluid. Oh, and an abscess. There was an abscess. And that was probably the pain. And then they said, "Well, we're going to admit you, but we are going to," the surgeon came back down and he said, "We're going to transfer you to UCSD in San Diego. They have specialists there, and I think they'll take better care of you." And I mean, I was very grateful for that, because I didn't want to be cut all the way open. So that night I was taken over there, and I swear I had the worst roommate ever. It was an elderly lady, Rocky. And she was like calling me names, and she was telling her husband about me. I finally had to tell her, "Please, you stop talking about me." And the nurses had to come in and talk to her because she was out of line. Like, she was so mean. And finally they moved me out of the room because she was just, I don't know, she was sick too, but so was I. So, like, can you be nice to me? Like, I'm like, the nurses kept having to come in. I was in the ICU, so I mean, they're always in your room. I couldn't help that. Anyways, so I felt like every day I was there, it got worse. Like, my fingers were stuck. Like, this. I couldn't even use them. And that was due to apparently my potassium, magnesium, and my phosphorus were depleted. And they had to give me replacements. I don't know how low they got. I never saw those numbers, but that's what they told me. And I couldn't, I mean, my extremities hurt, my toes hurt, my fingers hurt, everything hurt. They were giving me pain medicine around the clock, but it wasn't really lasting the whole time. Like by day 3, I was on oxygen because my respiration rate was up in the 40s because it hurt to breathe because my stomach hurt so bad. So I wasn't getting in good oxygen, so they had to put me on oxygen. And by day 3, they came in and said, you've got to get up and start walking because now the base of your lungs are collapsing. So it was horrible, like awful. Like it was so painful. I was so sick. Every day they had to put a PICC line through my arm and it went here all the way down to my heart because they also had to start me on feedings, like tube feeding, because I couldn't eat or drink anything by mouth. That they wanted my stomach to completely rest. And so we're a few days in. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. They started letting me take some pain medicine by mouth because they said this one would last longer, and some ice chips. And so I was able to do that. And they said I was going to go home. And this was a week. This has been a week now. They said I was going to go home. And they wanted to do a CT scan prior to me going. So we did another CT scan. I had to drink the horrible solution. And come to find out, now they could see a leak in my staple line. And the accumulation has grown. And it's also in my pelvic area. 2 separate fluid accumulations. So they had to put 2 different drains in to drain the fluid. And because that was leaking, nothing by mouth again. So back to the IV antibiotics, and they were going to have to do a procedure to close that off. So I ended up not being able to go home. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. They were able to put a clip over the leak and get that stopped, which I was very glad for. And then I had to go, when I went home with home health. I had to be on the IV antibiotics and IV feeding for about 5 weeks to let my stomach rest. The drains came out about week. The one lower one came out at right before I went home. Thankfully, that came out. And then the one that was in my side, that came out about week, I want to say week 3.5. They finally took that one out. I mean, it was so ugly, and you can't hide it, and you're walking around with just this bag filled with bloody fluid. It was disgusting. So, anyways, finally, everything was good. I was allowed to start drinking again and eating again. I'm eating regular food now. I'm back. I'm good now. I'm down 47 pounds. When I was on the tube feeding, I didn't lose anything because they were giving me the calories through the line, and it was getting about 1,800 calories a day. Rocky. So I didn't get any, weight loss from that, but since that stopped, I have been. I haven't had any further complications, thank God. And overall, I'm doing pretty good. I don't regret it. I mean, the complication I had was rare. More people had my sister, she was fine. Nothing happened to her. Everything went good. I was just one of the unlucky few, which has basically been my year, but hopefully the rest of the year will be good. So I do recommend it, though. He was a good doctor. It was a very clean hospital. The nursing staff were right on it. Like, if you would hit the call button, they were right there. They were quicker than the nurses I had here in the States. Like, honestly, like, I would ask for pain medicine one morning. I had to ask for pain medicine because I was in pain, and it took them 2 hours to bring it to me. I was so mad. I was crying by the time they gave it to me because, having an abscess is painful, but in your stomach, like, you don't realize everything you rely, like, on your stomach for, I guess. I don't know why I didn't think about it, but, like, breathing hurts. If your stomach is hurting, it hurts to breathe. Like, sitting up was awful. everything was horrible. I got really weak. I went back to the gym last week, and I have to go way back down in the weights again because I just have to get my strength back up. But I am doing it, and I'm going to the gym, and I'm eating good, and I am a little bit on a stall right now, which I heard happens about week 3 after the surgery, which my week 3 was a long time ago, but because I was on the feeding, it kind of restarted everything. So now I'm on week, I don't even know, but I've been on a stall. So they just say you got to wait through it and up your calories, which I am trying to do the best I can. It's hard. I mean, you can't eat a lot. You know, you got to get your calories in. You can't eat a lot. What are you going to do? Just eat every couple hours, but then you got to wait to drink your fluids in between, and you got to make sure you also get water. So it's a balancing act that I'm learning as I go. But that's my update for you. Yeah, I guess I will update it again eventually. I'm sorry this one took so long, but here it is. Bye.